Hello beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new here. Be sure to subscribe and turn your post notifications on because I do post videos on this channel every week. And if you've been here before, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me along my journey. So as you can see by the title of this video, I'm going to be talking about why I decided to become a vegetarian. So stick around for that. Actually going to break this video into 3 parts. Gonna first tell you the type of vegetarian I am, because there are different types, why I decided to become a vegetarian, as well as a couple of frequently asked questions with regards to my specific journey as a vegetarian. Just a disclaimer, this is just my experience. This is why I decided to become vegetarian. This video is in no way trying to force somebody to do what I did or to make someone stop eating meat. It has nothing to do with that. This is just my journey and I'm sharing it with you all, as well as just documenting it for myself. So when I first started my vegetarian journey some years ago, about 5 or so years ago, I was actually a lacto-ovo vegetarian, and that specific type of vegetarian is just one that consumes no meat at all, but they do eat eggs and dairy products. So I did eat eggs up until last year when I cut it off completely. So now, because I no longer consume eggs, I'm considered a lacto-vegetarian because I do still have dairy products to an extent. Usually I have cheese, regular cheese. I have vegan cheese sometimes, but it's so hard to come by, and regular ice cream. I also most times purchase vegan ice cream, but it's also hard to come by and it's kind of expensive. So if I'm just really having an ice cream craving, I would usually just buy regular ice cream. So that's the 2 products that I usually have dairy in. Otherwise, I usually just use soy milk or almond milk when cooking or for cereal or anything like that. So why did I decide to switch from eating meat to becoming a vegetarian? That's $1 million question. Well, first of all, we need to rewind to childhood me or teenager me when I used to eat meat all the time. Like I loved fried chicken, KFCs to be specific. I loved barbecue pigtails. I remember quite specifically that my family and I used to drive all the way to Valencia just to get barbecue pigtail with some mashed potatoes. Yes, I was that person. And well, I used to eat meat at home because my family is mostly made up of meat eaters. So whatever they cook, I would eat as a child growing up. When I was a teenager, I can't recall the exact age, I did get food poisoning from KFC. And it was so bad, I ended up in hospital. It was a horrible experience. I would never, ever want to relive it. Although I did get food poisoning a second time, but I was from doubles. But yeah, that's a different story. But the KFC, so I got food poisoning. It was traumatic. That was the first time I was ever food poisoned. And I was like, nope, I have to make the executive decision to stop eating meat. Well, KFC meat. So I stopped eating KFC. Since then, I never looked back. Haven't eaten KFC since. And to an extent, in some subconscious way, that was kind of like the beginning of my vegetarian transition. So I stopped eating KFC, but I was still eating meat at home. I was still going to Valencia for my barbecue pigtail. I was still eating fried chicken by Royal Castle, etc. And so that leads me to the first reason why I wanted to become a vegetarian was for health reasons. I was always a sickly child growing up. I'm still a very sickly person as an adult. So I just thought maybe a change in diet would help my health some way. It was worth a try. And so one day I just decided, hey, I'm going to become a vegetarian. I remember telling someone that I would do that, and she was like, yeah, I'll see if you last 2 months. And here I am, years later, still a vegetarian. So the other reason why I decided to become a vegetarian was because I was growing spiritually as a holistic being, and my consciousness started to expand, and I started to really become aware of what I was consuming, and not just food, but in the media, in the things that I put on my body, that I used in my hair. I even started making my own natural shampoos, which I haven't made in a while, but I started making that some years ago because I was really conscious about everything that I put on my body, what I consumed. Another thing was just thinking about the inhumane treatment of animals in slaughterhouses, because when animals are slaughtered at these slaughterhouses, they experience a similar thing that humans do with the fight, flight, or freeze situation, where hormones are released when they're being slaughtered. So they experience emotions just like humans do. They are sentient beings. So they experience pain, hurt, hopelessness, anger, fear, all those emotions they experience while being slaughtered. And throughout that process, those hormones are released into the meat that meat eaters then consume. And everything really is a transfer of energy. So you really are what you eat. So I thought about that and I looked at numerous documentaries. I really do genuinely care for animals, so it was heartbreaking, and I was like, no, I need to not contribute to that. The other reason was environmental changes, so the impact of the environment when you eat meat. The first thing is that climate change, it does exist. There's pollution, water pollution, air pollution from all the herbicides, the pesticides that goes into feeding these animals that are raised to be slaughtered. Then there's the thousands of gallons of water that is required to produce 1 pound of meat. It's a lot. That's a lot of water. What I would do is link the documentaries that I have looked at in the bio so that you can take some spare time to look at them when you can as well, and maybe you could have a change in opinion, maybe you could get some perspective. Right, so let's get into the frequently asked questions part of this video. So the first frequently asked question that I usually get is, but you still have health issues even after being a vegetarian for years?
I know.
But what I need to point out though is that being a vegetarian doesn't automatically equate to you being a healthier person, just as eating meat doesn't automatically equate to you being healthier either than your vegetarian or your vegan counterparts. Removing meat could cause you to gravitate to the more unhealthy options of things that you can still eat and consume, like the oily foods, the fried foods, which is something that I do a lot. I love fries and it's oily and I have acid reflux. So that's a way of me being unhealthy still. So if you're a person that usually eats out a lot, well, I know that's not really much of a thing now because of COVID, but if you were usually a person that ate out a lot, in Trinidad and Tobago there aren't very many vegetarian or vegan options. So usually if you go to a restaurant as a vegetarian or vegan, you have to eat like fries or a veggie burger. It's not much option, so it's still kind of unhealthy unless you're making your own foods, and sometimes you just don't have the time to do it. So vegetarian or vegan does not necessarily equal a healthier person. And the other frequently asked question is, how do you get your protein? Meat is not the only source of protein. I think a lot of people forget that the main source or the direct source of protein really comes from plants, you know, and that's where the animals, the meat that you eat, that's where they get it from. So why not go to the direct source? Some really great sources of protein is peas, like your lentils, your chickpeas, you have your beans, you have your black beans, you have your soya bean. Then there are the grains, there's the quinoa, there's the oats, there's the wild rice. Quinoa is actually the only plant source that is classified as complete protein. So it's a great source of protein and it tastes good if you cook it the right way. There's of course soy milk, almond milk, any kind of nut milk. Although the nut milks give you a lot less protein than the soy milk, so usually I use soy milk. It actually tastes richer to me anyway. There's also yogurt, there's soya and tofu. Tofu is just curds of soy milk, which is, as we know, a great source of protein. There's nuts, there's seeds, so you have your almonds, your cashews, your flax seeds, your hemp seeds. There's a wide variety of nuts and seeds that you can get proteins from. There's also nutritional yeast, and of course there's your fruits and veggies, so you have your guava, your bananas, your broccoli, your spinach, and even potatoes. So that's all I'll talk about in today's video. I didn't want to do too much questions, I just wanted to leave it to be a little cool, nice, flowing video today. I hope you enjoyed it, I hope you gained some insight. Maybe it was nice hearing about my vegetarian experience, and maybe I might inspire someone else to join me along this journey. So give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Comment down below and let me know if you're a vegetarian or a meat eater and why. And don't forget to subscribe, turn your post notifications on, because I do post videos on this channel every week. Also share the good vibes with somebody else. Don't keep it all to yourself. Hope you're staying well. Hope you're staying safe. Bye.